we should be able to hear us.
Hello?
Test.
Yep, we're there. Okay.
Right.
419.
I move that we come out of executive session back into
Regular.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
I.
Thank you. All right. We need to talk about your oh my God, salary.
Contract and
Contract and salary discussion. We appreciate what you're doing. Do you have any suggestions?
I would say I'm happy with anything that you can give me that's similar to what I got last year, and maybe with the same kind of increase that we gave the teachers around that 1%.
Okay.
That kind of, to me, I feel like that would be an appropriate way for the superintendent to operate.
Okay. Any suggestions from anybody?
Well, are you, oh no, that's your business, sorry.
Well, I agree. I think that the 1% is appropriate. And then I also think that there's a state recommendation for 3% for admin for bonus, and I think that's appropriate also.
To add the 1%
To your base?
to your
To the base,
base.
and then the bonus that was last year was like
6.2, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
And is that something that would be considered as well?
I think, Derek, you had kind of mentioned, I mean, and I'm concerned too, is the other districts around us are kind of falling apart.
Mhm.
And I just feel like optics, which I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like that, but it might be better if we didn't go the same amount,
Mhm.
maybe went, because with the state's apportionment for the admin, that maybe that 3%
Mhm.
would be like the bonus.
For the bonus. Yeah.
Is that something
Okay.
you would agree with, or
Oh,
what are your
certainly.
thoughts?
I mean, I'm gonna agree with however you approach it. Just from my perspective, the amount that was allocated last year was in line with what that increase was. We chose to leave it as a bonus
That's
rather
right.
than putting it
That
into
is
the
right.
contract.
No,
And so
correct.
all of that amount was
That is correct.
allocated last year as part of the increases that
So
came
the
last year.
63.
So all that same amount should be there for
should
this.
come
coming
back.
up.
No, that's fair. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
You would
What the
remove
governor
all
said?
Well,
No, thank you.
and so if you felt like
I'm okay with
dropping
that.
that to that 3%, and you feel like that's the way the district needs to go, I can get
Mhm.
behind that, but.
Nope, the governor gave you a raise.
Oh,
Yeah,
if-
yeah, I
Yeah,
see.
Do you know what he's talking
I
about?
remember now.
Everybody, you understand that?
Yeah, so the money was already there last year. We just kept it as a bonus where
And the money's there again for that,
Mhm.
so.
that,
Oh.
yeah. We don't want to unintentionally give the superintendent a pay cut. We did not.
No, exactly.
do That.
Exactly.
Right, and so, like I said, if you felt like that was what we needed as a district, I
No.
can get behind that, but that was we had looked at those funds last year, because there were those increases that came,
So
and
what would that be?
yeah, that, I guess
Uh, it
I
was,
took it as 6.2.
It was 6.2% is what?
6.2% of the amount last year, not with the 1%.
Right.
No, not with the 1%.
The 139, 100. That was the base last year, 139?
Yes,
Yeah,
and so it would be the 6.2% of that 139.1.
yeah.
Which is
Actually-
8 something. Is what Alicia told me.
8624,
Mhm.
Yep.
right?
So,
That's only about 700 a month or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that was already, what's the word, apportioned or?
Yeah,
Allocated.
allocated. It's
Allocated.
allocated and it was allocated again this year.
allocated
Oh,
which is good.
the 6.2
And hopefully it stays there.
previously.
Yeah, so the 1% would actually be less than what they allocated because they allocated 3%, but I don't feel comfortable doing too much more than what we've offered the teachers
Okay,
as a
there you go.
1% on
Thank
the.
you.
For the base.
Eric, are you following that?
I don't know if you can hear you.
He might-
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I'm following it. I forgot about the allocation too. So
I
I mean,
did too.
in my opinion, if we left the allocation the same at 6.2 and go 1%.
Perfect. I like that.
okay.
Yep, that makes sense now.
I took it as a bonus, but
Yeah.
if it was allocated as.
No.
Right, and we chose to leave it as a bonus, and what
We
that
need to
does
do
is
this
it.
more often, so
And
remember.
what that honestly does is if you were in a position, because as a person, typically what we look at is we build our budgets and everything around what we bring in on a monthly basis. Then if we were looking at it as a bonus and we really hit a tough spot and you felt like we really do need to pull this back in order to save those dollars,
I see.
then it still gives you that. But if it was in my contract, you wouldn't be able to go backwards.
Right.
And so the point of leaving it in the bonus was to give the flexibility.
Right, yeah.
Thank
I
you.
So
Totally
then,
remember all
Guess we
that.
need to watch those meetings before we come.
Well, I save all my agendas and stuff. I should have looked back at that.
Yeah.
You're in charge of that next
Yeah.
year,
so
Jay?
that 3% won't be there.
No, it would be
1%.
1% on the base
1%, and then he'll get the
and then
allocation.
the 6.2% bonus.
Okay.
So we should do a motion for
Yes,
that.
yes.
And I think if in your motion, if it could just be clear that some kind of language that just says that this is the same amount that was given last year, plus a 1% added to the base. Just so that it's clear that we're, when you say bonus, we're not adding that on top of
Yeah,
what I received last year.
So a bonus is a one-time.
It's a one-time
Like you
thing.
said, stipend.
it's like a stipend.
Yeah, it's a one-time thing, but we chose to do it that way instead of including it in the contract. So that the district had flexibility should we run into a situation where we need to pare it back.
I remember that conversation exactly now, that we,
Which is generous of you.
Well,
Very
I
generous.
Just.
I have to make it work too,
No.
with all of us, so.
Yep, yep.
it's great having the flexibility because there's definitely some of our revenue is, not very certain. Some of it could be up and down, flexible and all the rest. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it stays up there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's have a motion. Who's gonna be the brave soul?
I can.
You understand
Well, I don't know. I'll
numbers
try
better
it.
than I do.
So I move that we approve new contract and salary amount for the superintendent, the 1% increase to the base, and continue with the previous allocated 6.2% bonus as was last year. Is that it? Yeah, okay.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye,
I,
All right.
Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.
all right.
Hey.
Thanks, Derek.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll see ya.
Yeah,
See ya.
Go off.
I hope that at least meets your expectations.
Oh, no,
Sounds good.
fantastic.
All right.
It'll be.
Thank you for helping.